You know, I so admire the Victorians and the Edwardians. They really seemed to understand how spiritual mourning is and how important it is to go through that process. When someone dies today, people can't wait for the burial and the funeral and the wake to be over so they can go back to their regular life. But it was not so with the Victorians and the Edwardians. They faced the sadness, sorrow, and the grief, and they allowed themselves to just fully process the whole experience. And there's a lot to that. I think there's a lot of value in that. And I really respect how they wore all black. Today it's looked at like, oh, it's so depressing. But for the Victorians, it wasn't depressing, it was honoring. It was honoring the dead. It was showing reverence for death and eternity. And they had a very good understanding of all of that. They saw a lot more death than we do. Their lifespans were somewhat shorter than ours. And I respect that they kept their eyes focused on the future and on eternity, knowing that one day it would be their turn. And I think that's missing today. I think the reverence and the honor of the grieving process and all that entails, I think that's really missing today. There's so much we can learn from the Victorians and the Edwardians. After I lost my loved one, it was back to business as usual. There was an estate to close up. There was all kinds of thank you cards to write. But I never really got the opportunity to fully embrace the loss. And some of us need that. I think the wise person keeps their eye on the purpose of life, which is the preparation for eternity. The grieving process is not necessarily wailing and crying, but it's remembering that there is the circle of life, and that if you know where you're going after death, it's not necessarily a horrible, frightening prospect. I think it's so important to use this life to know the Savior, so that when your time comes, He knows you and you know Him.